Welcome to It All Boils Down to This, the podcast where father and son take the kitchen table arguments and heated discussions from their home directly to yours. Jim and Jack Boyle will explore the world as only they can. We might even let a few guests join the fun. So sit back, choose a side, watch the water temperature rise, and enjoy stimulating generational conversation about sports and life. All right, our friend David Immendorf, Core Discord. I feel bad for David. He was a big-time San Francisco 49er fan, and it had to be excruciatingly painful for him last night, Jack, to watch what we witnessed. The first three quarters weren't that good, but that fourth quarter and overtime were phenomenal. So, real quick, give me a 30-second elevator pitch overview.
Well, just for David, that's going to be a game you lose sleep over. That's going to be a game you remember forever. But so is the game that they lost 4 years ago. So is the game where the power went out and he lost to his brother. They've had some heartbreaking losses this century after the 80s when all they did was win when they got to the Super Bowl. But yeah, no, heartbreaking loss yesterday. But I guess, you know what? They should have lost the first two games in the playoffs, and they probably should have won last night. So it all evens out.
True, it does. You know, what's funny about Shanahan is he's the only coach to lose. He had a 10-point lead twice, and then he was also the offensive coordinator of the 28-3 game. So, you know, he's taking a beating today, Shanahan. Let's start with just real quickly the Shanahan angle on this. You know, his defense, Wilkes, I thought, did a great job first two quarters. And then all of a sudden, Reed and Mahomes made the adjustments. And then offensively, I think Shanahan spit the bit in the third quarter.
Did they, though? Did they make the adjustments? They had one before the touchdown drive that won the game. They had one touchdown drive, and it was a one-play drive off a muff punt. Did the Chiefs really make adjustments? Is it Shanahan's fault that the ball hit the guy's leg on the punt? Is it really Shanahan's fault? Now, there's one thing that Shanahan really should get a lot of criticism for, but I think Shanahan is taking too much criticism today for just getting beat by the greatest quarterback of his generation.
Head coach always takes the abuse, and I think they had two drives that ended up with only 3 points, not two, not a touchdown. Remember, they had the long pass, which I was impressed that Kansas City tried to go deep early. That was in the second quarter.
Oh, you're talking about Kansas City.
Yeah, Kansas City. And then in the other end with the where they didn't score inside the four, where you went absolutely berserk, where they kicked the field goal to tie it, where he missed Rice over the middle and he tried to sneak it into Kelsey. But again, they made the adjustments. They were moving the ball up and down the court, up the field. I
don't think they were, though.
They were. Mahomes was. I think they were.
A little bit, yeah, I guess. I mean, the two best drives of the game were it was the last two that they had when Mahomes needed to get 3 points to tie the game, and when the last drive in the overtime drive where they won the game. That was the most competent the Chiefs looked. The first half, it looked like the Chiefs of the regular season. I mean. Travis Kelce on the sideline getting emotional, receivers maybe not getting open, dropping passes. The offensive line wasn't playing good. But guess what? The defense, like they did the whole year, kept them in the game in the first half. They really did.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that's the difference between that first time they won and now is their defense was phenomenal. Spagnuolo called a great game. I think that, again, if I go back to Shanahan, this offensive genius, this greatest coach that ever lived, all this stuff we had, they went 3 and out 3 straight times in the third quarter. They left points on the board in the first quarter. They should have been up. That game should have been like 21-0 before the halftime, before the kickoff, before they kicked the field goal.
21-0. Who?
Oh, the San Francisco had opportunity.
Well, you could say that, but 21-0. The Chiefs fumbled on the 10-yard line when it was 3-0. So it would go 21-7. Yeah, no, they should have been up more than 7 points at halftime. I will say that. And then even coming out of halftime, I mean, Mahomes throws they run that. I forget what the first play out of halftime was.
Oh, they tried to threw that pitch to Pacheco and he fumbled it.
No, yeah, it was so. It
wasn't. Right. No, like that.
It was he fumbled. No, it was a poor snap.
Yes.
They started with a poor snap, then they threw a little pass for 10 yards over the middle, and then Mahomes throws an interception. And then the Niners get the ball, and I think Shanahan's thinking dagger here.
Yes, he was.
They go 3 and out on 3 straight passes. They don't run the ball to McCaffrey. So, yeah.
Somebody brought up that McCaffrey had the most carries he had all year. But, again, the game went overtime, and they were running. Going away from McCaffrey, who we had that draft last week. I had McCaffrey as the second pick. Going away and making Purdy try to beat you instead of McCaffrey. I think that's what Spagnuolo wanted to do, and I think they made that. That's some of the adjustments they made after the first quarter where they were getting beat up. The defense was getting beat up, you have to admit. And then, again, they only gave up 19 total points, which is not a bad deal. And, again, you're right. Chiefs defense They won the Super Bowl because their defense was better and their quarterback who knew how to compete and could win. Who pulled it? And like I said, it's sacrilege here in New England to say, but he pulled a Tom Brady.
And now, if you want to know how down bad about coaching, some of these people here was, J. Trev, we'll hear from him in a bit. He was apologizing, he was doing revisionist history about Dan Campbell the other week, saying Dan Campbell, well, at least he stuck to his guns. Shanahan kind of went away from what he was doing. He was so down bad about Shanahan, who I thought had a pretty good game. He was talking about Dan Campbell, apologizing to that idiot. Ugh, Dan Campbell.
Well, that's because you love Dan Campbell. All our friends out in Detroit. Jack is still on the podcast.
We got some food here.
That's for the wrestling teams coming in.
Wow.
Wrestling. There might be some food for you if you're nice to them when we leave. But it's the high school wrestling team here. Yeah, Jack gets distracted by it's like squirrel.
By the way, real quick, can you see what's on my forehead right now?
No.
You can't by the camera. There's a little mark on my forehead.
Yeah?
It's from banging my head on the ground after Pacheco fumbled.
Yeah, that
the 10-yard line. So, look, we'll talk about my experience. Do you have any notes? Let's go to my notes. So what I said was I'm going to be so, obviously I had to watch with you guys. I'm going to be so annoying. I predicted before the game. At the end of the first quarter, early in the second quarter, I'm going to get kicked out. I'm going to get kicked out of the room. I'm going to have to go watch somewhere else. And then I'll come back at halftime, watch the second
You didn't get kicked out. You left.
Exactly what happened.
You left.
Yeah, but it was...
You walked out on me.
Oh, it was half and half. It was kicked out, blah, 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 blah. So what do you got from the game
All
so
right,
far?
so here we go.
I'm going to dispute this first one because I don't think it ever happened.
Amanda and her mom. We'll call mom right up now.
No, I don't care about them. I think they're lying too. There's no way I said this. I was never nervous about that game.
Pre-kickoff, Jack goes pre-kickoff. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. They're going to lose.
The worst case scenario then, but I never said that.
You were trying to make yourself comfortable, but you did say that.
No.
No?
I don't think I did, but yeah, whatever.
Do you want to call mom right now?
But when that ball was kicked off, I thought the Chiefs were winning the game, so I dispute that.
You were going to lose. Okay, then that was the worst first down play ever by the Chiefs.
After they got the fumble, Pacheco left guard -3. Pacheco was awful last night.
Well,
He's terrible.
They schemed to stop him.
I get that, but he couldn't make a guy miss.
That's
McCaffrey,
true.
He makes the first guy miss every time.
Right,
Pacheco was massively overrated as a running back, but he's still a good player. But I think he's a bit overrated, and I've loved him all year.
Okay, and then my favorite one about the Niners. This team is way too emotional. They can't play like this the whole game. Every play is like they're just for the Super Bowl. Well, that's what you expect them to do.
Okay,
and they did not. They did. They played pretty well the rest of the day, though.
They came out like the German army in World War II, loaded up on amphetamines. I've never seen anything like how hyped up they were. And I think, look, if you watch during that game, Greenlaw came out of that game. He was going bananas, nuts, and he ends up hurting himself. It's a fluke, but you could have tested to him how bouncy he was and how excited he was to get on the field. That Achilles injury, it was the strangest injury ever. But they were jacked up.
Okay,
and by the way, by the end of the game, their defense was gassed. They were.
Both teams were, though.
I know, but not like the Chiefs got to stop, the 49ers didn't.
I think that's why the Niners took the ball, because their defense had been gassed after that one big drive. And, we can bitch all we want.
No, the Niners took the ball because they didn't know the rules.
I think that's crap.
Here, we're going to read the quotes. So
I don't believe the quotes. I think they're covering up for the fact that they just...
Why would you cover up by making yourself look like an idiot?
Because they're idiots.
Just say that your defense was tired, then you don't look like idiots. Okay. Here we go. So there are two things here. I think it's this is about the Chiefs. The Chiefs' overtime plan worked out exactly how they had hoped, and it wasn't by accident. Kansas City safety Justin Reed told The Ringer that the Chiefs had first discussed the new overtime rules as far back as training camp. Defensive lineman Chris Jones told me players were prepared for what to expect if the Super Bowl went to overtime. We talked through this for 2 weeks, Jones said, how we was going to give the ball to the opponent, and if they scored, we were going to go for 2 at the end of the game. We rehearsed it. Then it comes over. The 49ers did not do the same. Multiple San Francisco players said after the game that they were not aware that the overtime rules are different in the playoffs than they are in the regular season, and strategy discussions over how to handle the overtime period did not occur as a team. Defensive lineman Arik Armstead, we couldn't remember his name, said he learned the details of the postseason rule when it was shown on the Jumbotron at the stadium during the TV timeout after regulation. Fullback Kyle Juszczyk, is that how you pronounce it?
Juszczyk,
said he assumed the 49ers asked to receive when they won the toss because that's what you do in the regular season, when a touchdown wins the game. I guess that's not the case. I don't really know the strategy.
Okay, couple points. Number one, the players aren't going to discuss strategy. They have nothing. The players go out and play. The coaches coach. Shanahan's, the whole blame goes on Shanahan. However, you remember we talked about having somebody up in the booth who knows what they're doing. Well, I give credit to the Chiefs because they knew exactly what they were going to do. They planned for it.
Yeah.
But why doesn't San Francisco plan for it? Because Shanahan's too smart an offensive guy. I don't know. I think it's all in the coach. the players don't need to know about it. Come on, who cares? If Brock Purdy knows that, oh, coach, I think you're wrong. We should defer here because then we get a chance to go on the fourth down.
I think the players do need to know about it, and that's like why the Chiefs win this game. The players, the culture, they have more leaders on their team. Like I know Travis Kelce made himself look like an idiot at one point, but he's a leader. Chris Jones, who made that quote, he's a leader. Mahomes is a leader. They don't have a guy like that on the 49ers who's going to step up. Kyle Shanahan said they elected to take the ball to start the overtime so that they would be assured the ball should the game have been tied after the first two possessions. By that point, it would have been sudden death. But if what the Chiefs are saying is true, it was never going to get to that point because they were going to go to 2 for 2 and either win the game or lose the game. So if the 49ers score a touchdown, and then the Chiefs come score a touchdown. Game's over no matter what because they're either losing or they're winning. Right. They're not going to let. They're not going to let you decide. Because they were prepped for it,
but that's why they would have gone for 2 because they were gassed anyway. The defense. Okay, let's go back because we talk about preparation in the next quote. First quarter was terrible, 3 and outs, no run, no pass, no nothing. Second quarter is just about as bad. Andy Reid just wasn't prepared for this game. I quote Mr. Boyle.
Yeah, no, he wasn't.
He wasn't until he was.
No, at the end of the day, though,
they were prepared for the
they were prepared for that sort of stuff. But overall game plan, Shanahan had a better game plan. He was more ready for the game than Reid was. Now there's more to preparing than just the X's and the O's. There's all the other stuff, which is where Shanahan made himself look like an idiot. But Andy Reid and Matt Nagy and whoever's designed the plays, they were not ready for what the 49ers were going to throw at them. They weren't.
Okay, but they were prepared.
They did nothing in the first half. They threw a bomb. That's it.
They made the adjustment. All right, next, at 3:48 in the first period. They're going to score here. Chiefs have got to wake up. And they did wake up. They didn't score. They did not score. Then one of my favorite ones of all time. Hit him hard. He'll get hurt. McCaffrey is the biggest baby. He screwed Matt Rule. I love that one. Okay, that is my favorite quote of the night. He screwed Matt Rule.
This guy, now, he got hit hard a couple times, McCaffrey. He doesn't get hurt. He totally sold out in Carolina. He sold out in Carolina, 100%.
Probably did.
So screw him.
Probably did. All right. Now, 1 minute left in the first. They are getting worked by this offensive line, and they were. The defense, they were. I agree with that in the first. Then at 14:48 of the second period, got to play football, boys. And I looked at you and I said, I think that's what we're playing.
Yeah, but everyone knows what I meant there.
Everyone knows. All right, and then my favorite time of the whole time, down. And then look if you look at his if we look at his head over there, down on the floor after the Checo fumble. That's how the Chiefs lost this year. Then I say, just please go sit down, and then he goes to me, go expletive yourself, and left the room.
Yeah. No,
just as he predicted.
I was explaining it, and no, what happened was Amanda got mad at me for celebrating a 50-yard pass, like the biggest play of the game. I was like, yeah, screamed, yeah, and I got yelled at for doing that. And what? And then I had my head down on the ground, banging it for probably the whole commercial break. I didn't catch any of the commercials.
No,
I think that might have been when the Duncan commercial was on, when I was banging my head on the ground after the Pacheco fumble. But no. It was deserved. And then when I went upstairs, I missed the Kelce incident when I was going upstairs because that's when the Kelce incident happened.
Yeah, so those were the ones I took. Then they actually calmed down a little bit, came down, was still out, set up in the bleachers at the house there on the addition, and he was nervous. I think the overtime was really. I loved the overtime, and it was just you're nervous. And I was rooting for the Chiefs all the way. So you're nervous, but Mahomes just again, he's in another world, just like Tom Brady was, just like Montana was, who could take his team from the depths of despair to victory. And again, I think you made a great point. It was sort of like watching what you were hearing was what the Patriot fans probably felt, or when Atlanta choked. Right?
No, it wasn't just Atlanta. It was every single time. It was when they were down 10 to Jacksonville. It was when they were down 10 to Seattle. It was when blah, blah, blah. It was just all the final drives that I used to see with Brady. And I saw Patriots fans complain about this when they were the last drive of the fourth quarter. So to get the ball back there, an amazing play by McDuffie, who had a phenomenal game besides the one hold that really hurt them, and an amazing play call by Spags. Because if they get a first down there on that 3rd and 4th, the game's probably over. They're probably going to run the clock out and kick a field goal.
Right.
I know Chiefs still had 2 timeouts, but he makes a play, they get the ball back. When they're coming down the field, when Mahomes has the ball, they're playing like prevent zone defense. Every Patriot fan's mad at this. It's like
that's what everybody did with Brady.
This is what I used to scream about with Tom Brady all the time. It's like, why are you playing zone? Why are you playing prevent defense? Why are you doing this? Why are you letting him make these throws? So it was just funny. It was It's amazing how much watching the Chiefs is like watching the Patriots. And I root against the Patriots. I root for the Chiefs. It's
Right.
very rewarding.
Right. All right. So that's the commentary because he went nuts on us. Then he came back. He was loud. Man, I got mad. You were over the top every once in a while. I understand and that's what pissed me off. I just want you to sit down and calm down. There's a lot of game left to be played now as we get into the second half. They kicked the field goal, go into halftime down 10-3. Then whatever, I guess the Mount Rushmore of Usher rappers came out, right? Ludacris, Usher,
yeah, I guess
Big Boy
I
Cardi,
have nothing to
something
say
like
about
that.
Usher. He played like a trillion songs. Just play your hits and play your full song hits and get out of there.
So then you figure they're coming out at halftime. They get the ball to start the half. They're going to march down the field, tie the game up. And, boy, those first two possessions the second half were horrible.
Yeah, but the good thing is the Chiefs
49ers.
defense was dominating there, too. So
Yeah, the
they kept them
49ers were
alive.
probably even worse. I'm just looking at the stats. They ran total plays. The Chiefs ran 79 total plays to 71. I bet you it was way worse at first half. The Chiefs didn't run many plays.
No.
But in the third quarter, I think that the Niners went out three times in a row, right?
Yeah, something like that. It was something like that. Yeah.
Again, it was a weird game. I would say it was not a great game up until the middle of the fourth quarter and beyond when Purdy did take them down and score that touchdown. There were a few penalties there that dated them. And then Mahomes come down and should have scored, but they kicked the field goal to tie the game. Then it was a really exciting overtime because they ate up only 2 drives. The whole quarter got eaten up. So that's where we are with that. I think we're any real quick before you get in hold of Jay Trev, which we're hoping Jack's got a list of questions for him, and then I'll answer those questions too as he asks.
So
them.
you talk about it wasn't a great game. It ended up the first 3 quarters were a little bit like, I guess if you're like a casual fan, bad, but as someone who's so invested in it, it was great to me.
Right. If you're on this, that's what I mean.
At the end of the day, it's one of the best Super Bowls ever. Honestly, it is. Just the way
anytime
the
they go overtime,
and all
you're
that, and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
It's a lot like how everyone talks about the previous World Cup final as being one of the best World Cup finals ever. For 80 minutes, that was the worst soccer game of all time. It was France couldn't get a kick in. But what happened from minute 80 to the end of regulation and in extra time, it became one of the greatest games ever, just like what happened in this football game. It's all about the end.
Right, and again, the casual fan is watching the casual fans watch the Super Bowl different than we are, and I totally agree with you on that. But it was a stinker for 3 quarters, and because any game would go overtime, only the second time in the history of the NFL went to overtime, and it didn't get to 1. It got to 3, but not to 1. Right? It was a 3-point differential.
Yeah, the theater of football is just great.
So we are gonna go.
I'm gonna text him right now.
We're texting our
before we start.
NFL expert Jay Trev.
What do you think of Tony Romo last night?
He was funny.
I thought he was horrendous last night.
You know what? He had his moments.
Talked too much. He made some weird things.
He had his moments.
He did this.
He had his moments. Oh my God! Here's Tony Romo.
All we have on the board is a field goal. Take it to the commercial there, Mr. Romo.
Oh my God!
I couldn't believe that. Honestly, he's singing on the broadcast. It's like, dude, There's no way Jim Nantz likes him.
I wonder if we're
gonna
gonna get banged for having that song on.
No way.
You never know.
No.
It doesn't matter. We're not going to pay for it anyway.
We'll
call out to all our fans to help us pay for that stuff.
I said something last week that could have got us banned. I'm not going to say what it was, but
that we're not going to repeat.
I'm still alive right now because the Chiefs won.
Right, that's true.
Take the hint.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a list of
about
questions.
Romo.
What do you think of Romo?
Well, Jim Nantz would have said by now if he wasn't coming back. I don't know what the contract situation is, but they should go get Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen's doing real good. He doesn't overtalk. He doesn't get in the way of the game, really, like Romo seems to have been getting in the way of the game. I used to love Romo. I thought he was the best ever when he came first in, but it's just become too much. I don't know what it is. It's like he enjoys the game too much is what they say. It's
weird.
He
still does a great job with the analyst side of the game. And what were we watching? J.J. Redick with the I watched a little of the Celtics the other night before the game. Redick did a good job in talking as a guard and talking about, and I think that's what you want from your analysts. You want your analysts to come out and say, this is what you got to expect. This is what you're going to see. He gets a little funky every once in a while, but you know what? That's you got to live with it. And Greg Olsen's great first year, second year, third year, fourth year. Then you just it's the same thing. It's repetitive, just like almost anybody else, except for Eckersley with you. So have we heard back from Jay Trevor now?
No, we have not. What else do we have to talk about? Well, that final drive, I mean, that Kansas City drive it was awesome to watch. I mean, the 4th and 1 play where he makes that run and they keep it in his hand. 4th and 1, they go to the shotgun. Brilliant. There was a 3rd and 6 where actually Romo was good here for the only time in the game, where he's like, they got all these guys up on the line, they're going to drop back into coverage, and they end up blitzing, and when they blitz, Romo goes, oh no, and Mahomes hits Rice coming across the middle, they pick up like 15 yards the first down. Kelsey had a few big catches. I saw, so you know what we should do? It was on Zolak's show today, I was listening to the podcast that comes out, and Zolak and the host there, Beto, they were talking about how Kelsey's so washed up, and
washed up.
Washed up is like he ended up leading he ended up with like 9 receptions for 93 yards. He had more yards than Ayuk, Kittle, and Samuel combined.
Right.
He had some big plays. He dominated the Ravens. What do you mean he's washed up? Because he didn't have the best regular season? He 100% is still, if I'm taking tight ends, I'm taking him over everyone else in the NFL. People, George Kittle, ooh, cool, you can block. What did you have, 1 catch for 2 yards? George Kittle was a disgrace.
The other play we failed to mention is the scramble that Mahomes went like for 25 yards. I thought he was going to score when it initially happened, and that was one of the bigger plays of the game as well. That set the field goal up, which knew they were going to win. Not they're going to win. They're going to tie. The worst they were going to do was tie. They only had that 1 4th and 1 2, I think, on that drive. They did a good job mixing plays up. His receivers were getting open. He was hitting his receivers. Again, the defense was gassed for both teams, and you could tell that by the pressure. There wasn't much pressure put on in the overtime, either Purdy or Mahomes. And I think one of the things that had happened in the first couple quarters was, Bosa and Armstead and who's the other guy, the big guy, the defensive lineman, were doing a good job.
How about Chase Young, who got benched last week because he wasn't trying against the Lions? He was phenomenal. In that game. He was probably even better than Bosa. He was incredible. I agree with that. And I do think the injury to Greenlaw probably helped free up Kelsey a little bit. They started looking for him more, and he just had a great second half. And adds to the legacy of Travis Kelsey, adds to the legacy of the Kansas City Chiefs, adds to the legacy of Andy Reid, adds to the legacy of Patrick Mahomes that is growing. And
that's true.
It's a dynasty now, and 3-peat.
That's true. Yeah, well, it's hard to do that, but we'll see.
No one's ever done it.
How many teams do you think have had a chance? See how smart you are.
I mean, there's like 4 or 5.
5, I think it is.
Yeah, well, another thing about I did mention Zolak earlier. I found it was like halftime when the Chiefs were losing. I found Zolak's Twitter. It encapsulated what these Patriot fans are. It was the Patriot.
Are you going to read it to me?
Whininess. So I got to find the start of it.
Let me hear it.
So the start goes. It must have been after. I think it was after he assaulted Andy Reid, Travis Kelsey. He tweets, LOLOL, show her now, talking about Taylor Swift. Next, love the way the game is going. Go 49ers. Next, in all caps, F yes. Next, if Reid has balls, bench Kelsey. He was desperate to get Kelsey benched. Next, so if he's washed up, why do you want to bench so bad?
Right.
Next, show her with exclamation points, talking about Taylor Swift. Next, a video, he retweeted a video of Travis Kelsey assaulting Andy Reid. Next, Gronk never beat up Belichick. Next, so this must be after the trick play or something when they scored the touchdown with McCaffrey. This is effing awesome. Next, wow. Next, after halftime when Mahomes throws the interception. Yes, in all caps. Brady my ass.
Yeah, I know.
Brady never threw an interception in the Super Bowl.
Never did.
That's next. Next, a video of he comments on a video of Goodell talking to Taylor Swift, which was pregame. This is like midway through the third quarter. He
was losing his mind.
He quote tweets it and goes, frauds. Next, he retweets a tweet saying, Ravens have to be sick seeing the Chiefs with just 3 points so far.
Yeah.
The Ravens didn't score any points either. Next, all caps, run the ball. Next, wow, Romo is bad. Hey, we agree. Next,
oh my God.
in all caps.
Unbelievable.
Purdy, ice in his veins. We haven't talked about Purdy yet.
It'll be next.
Bosa and Purdy are MVPs right now. Next.
The kicker was the MVP, by the way.
Yes, in all caps.
Yeah.
Next. Well, the kicker kind of after.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah, true.
Really, Romo? Your mindset is different from being down 3 as to down 4. CBS needs to do something. Next. This is where he really, really was getting mad. Did he say Kelsey has put the team on his back? My God, Romo is bad. Then he retweets. Tony Romo does commentary like he's paid by the word. Next, another F yes. Then, come on. Then, F yes, Brock Purdy. Then, the game ends. Puke.
Yeah. Well, he deserves to puke.
And wait.
He can't, what?
Before saying something nice, kind of, he retweets a guy who tweets, congrats to Patrick Mahomes for definitively passing Peyton Manning only on the all-time QB rankings.
Yeah.
And then, His last tweet, Hunt family a class act and runs it the right way. Great quarterback and great team. Go get a cheeseburger, Andy, super coach. I'd hire Spags tomorrow. And then he does retweet one more thing. 3 more for Mahomes, and we can start the conversation. 4 more, and the debate can begin.
Yeah, everybody talks that. You know, it's
the debate is so annoying.
Yeah,
who cares?
Some kid at school asked me today, well, you're the coach, you're Coach Reed, and he does that. What are you going to do? I said, listen, I'm going to take it as it's the heat of the game. I'm sure that's the relationship he has with the player. You know, and I think it was worse because Reed wasn't waiting for it, almost got knocked over. But they were pissed, and Rice was pissed at Mahomes right after the final regulation time.
Oh, yeah, he's wide open.
You know, wide open. He got pissed. I think that's just the communication that they have, and you know, you can doubt Andy Reid back in the 2000s when he had the Eagles, but you can't doubt him now. He's done a great job maneuvering a really great franchise quarterback and a great franchise team to win 3 Super Bowls in 5 years. So what are you going to do, you know?
Yeah, so I've said it before. We're going to talk to Jay Trev, and he, like I said, he used to be the
Are
biggest...
we ever going to get Jay Trev?
No, probably not. He's Tommy T in us.
Yeah.
he used to be the biggest Andy Reid hater that ever existed.
Now everybody loves
him.
him.
He's the loser, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it just shows coaching's coaching, but if you don't have that quarterback,
right.
you're not going to win. You're just not.
Right, and it's the same thing here in New England. They don't get a quarterback, they're not going to win. Let's go to Purdy real quick because he's the one guy. First of all, I got to give McCaffrey a lot of. You know, you bitch about him getting hurt and screwing my buddy Matt Rule, but you got to give him a lot of credit. He led the team in receiving and rushing, and if they would let him throw, he would have led the team in passing as well. So, but let's go to Brock Purdy. He is. They were kissing his butt the whole first half. Oh, he's got great spatial awareness. He's got this. He's got that. He's got that. He's got this, that, and he didn't win. So what does spatial awareness do if you don't win?
I keep
stop looking at the food. Stop looking at the food out there for the wrestling team. Do I have to put a curtain up over here?
I wish there was. Then I'd be locked in. What'd you say? Repeat.
I'm not repeating.
Okay, then we
talked about Purdy has a great spatial awareness, but he can't win. You know, so
he
there's
can
something.
Win. I mean, you don't want to play Mahomes. He can win. I guess he's a little bit better than I thought he was. Like he's not going to. There wasn't a 50% chance he threw up on himself. He wasn't going to throw up on himself, but he doesn't have that ability to really go win you the game like Mahomes did. So you do what you do. He's on his rookie contract for I think another 2 years. I'm going to ask Jay Trev about that a little bit. You got to win then with him, but again, it is what it is. It's like he's good, but he's not great, and those quarterbacks don't win often. They don't.
Right, and they were trying to. That was the thing about the third quarter. He was trying to get Purdy to win instead of going with his bread and butter, which would have been McCaffrey. And they went 9 plays and didn't get any yards. So we'll see. Give the kid some credit. He made the Super Bowl, and they'll be back next year. But are they like our friends from Baltimore? Has their time run out?
Well, no, because I would take Lamar over him. I think I
would too.
I think he can make
100%.
more plays and all that, but. The thing is, like, so what Mahomes did this year and how they won, like, you're never going to win like that with Purdy. So this is the tweet about, like, Mahomes and the Chiefs in this year. Scariest part about the Super Bowl is that this was supposed to be the down year for the Chiefs. Mahomes was the most expensive cap hit in the NFL. His O-line was weakened. His wide receiver one was a rookie. They were forced to play 6 straight games at a rest disadvantage, week 12 through 17, the only time a team had to do that in NFL history. They had to play in Germany. They didn't get a first-round bye. They played on the road in the divisional round as an underdog. They played on the road in the conference championship game as an underdog. They were underdogs in the Super Bowl and were losing by double digits. It was the toughest path to a Super Bowl ever based on like DVOA, which is like a J Trev stat.
Right,
and they still won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And
you don't win the Super Bowl with Purdy having the highest cap hit in the NFL. You don't.
So the question, I thought I saw a graphic last night that they're like the 4th youngest team in the league. Is that
Chiefs,
true?
they've drafted. I mean, they've drafted phenomenally well.
And that's the kid Vorgonzi. We can ask Jay Trev about him. Maybe the Patriots, instead of sticking their heads up their asses, would have hired him.
Jay Trev was like rooting against like the Chiefs, like his life was dependent on it. His buddy.
I think they're all sycophants for the Patriots, and you don't want Tom Brady to be challenged. You know what?
But then why is everyone tweeting? Why is everyone tweeting about Tom Brady and why is everyone so defensive about Tom Brady then if it's not even close? Why is everyone rooting against Kansas City so much if it's not even close? Because he is on track. He is doing things. You can say he's the greatest quarterback you ever saw. You know, maybe not the greatest career you ever saw, but you have a case to make. He's the greatest quarterback you ever saw. You do. It's just like LeBron versus Jordan. It really is.
Going back to back. All right.
Jay Trev is available, so we're
gonna call Jay Trev right now. Jack's got a list of 10 questions. We're gonna do that. Here he comes. Do you want me to say hi to him?
Yeah, I got it.
Oh yeah, he's ringy, one ringy dingy, as we would say on laughing.
Boyles.
Yo, Jay Trev, what's up, buddy?
What's going on, Jim?
Good to hear you. But where are you, in New Hampshire, Maine, or are you at up in Lady Gaga's house?
I'm currently in Maine.
Lady
All right, is your
Gaga's
dad
house.
there?
Up in the boonies.
Is your pops
Yeah,
there?
he's somewhere.
Oh, well, tell him I want to get him on after we're done with you. Because I haven't talked to him for a while. It'll be fun.
Oh my God.
He doesn't have to know it's on the air yet. But Jack has set up a whole list of questions that you and I are going to answer as we go through them. And we'll see what happens. But really appreciate your time here, Jay Trev. Got to get you to the studio for your pretty mug when we get to some dead time in the spring. So, Jack, I'll let it up to you.
I got about 15 questions here. So the first one I'm going to start with, and you'll know more about this than we will. How was the 49ers defense able to give Mahomes and the Chiefs so much trouble in the first 3.5 quarters of that game?
Well, I kind of gave defensive coordinator Steve Wilkes a little crap for how he handled the fourth quarter and overtime, but I got to give credit where credit's due. Their plan for the first 3 quarters was excellent. What Mahomes does best is, he's a creator outside of the pocket, and
totally agree with you.
In terms of the mental part of his game, that's where he's really underrated. And the 49ers were just confusing him, providing him different looks, and they weren't letting him escape the pocket. I thought Nick Bosa was the best player on the field for a lot of that game last night.
Yep.
For the first 3 quarters.
Mm-hmm.
And, he didn't, but you look at the stats and he didn't have, I don't even know if he had a sack, but every time you looked, Romo was talking about on the broadcast, he was setting the edge. He wasn't letting Mahomes escape, to his right like he likes to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they just did a good job of, Romo kept saying on the broadcast, his internal clock was sped up. They just did a good job of mixing things up, keeping everything in front of them, and making things easy, not making things easy for Mahomes pre-snap.
I think you say the right thing. Just the setting the edge by Bosa, and then they had Chase Young on the other side, right? He was getting not a lot of opportunities to get outside, and then when he would try to get on the edge, Bosa was always there to force off the middle to defenders. What changed, though, in reality? What do you think changed? I think a lot changed the fact that Reed and made some adjustments in trying to get, because they were dropping back in the zone. Reed made a lot of adjustments, some quick passes to the running back and to the tight ends, which sort of opened it up a little bit. Do you think, what did change, though? Because it obviously changed in the last 2 or 3 drives.
Yeah, I think some of the Chiefs' better playmakers didn't really have much of an impact early on. The Kelsey looked like his yard total was going way under for a majority of the game, and it was a good thing that Andy Reid and the guys remembered that they had the best tight end in the game on their side. So that's a simple answer. They got him involved, but I think Andy Reid, he's known as an opening script guy.
Yes.
Like a first 15 plays, first couple drives, you give him time to prepare. But honestly, it wasn't even what was impressive for Reed this week was how he adjusted.
Right.
The first few drives outside the half, they didn't do much. The Niners kept them quiet still. The Chiefs also kept the Niners quiet. So, it kind of remained a one-possession game for a little while there. But late into that third quarter, the entire fourth quarter and overtime, the Niners stopped having those answers. Reed adjusted really well.
All right, Jack. Good answer. Question number 2, Jack.
Well, J. Trev knocked out 2 of the 2 questions I had in his answer there. I had
Awesome,
who was
J.
the best
Trev.
player on San Fran? Your answer's Bosa, right? So,
What's the second question?
Yeah, both.
and then the other one was kind of a joke question because you were complaining about this. I said, "Do you actually think Steve Wilkes should be fired?" And that's obviously no.
I don't.
All
Okay,
right,
Mr. Emotional.
But I do. The Niners defense for at least the first half of the year, I thought was the best or the second best defense in football with the Ravens. But after week 9, they were 22nd in EPA. I know you love that stat.
Environmental Protection Agency
expected
stat?
points added.
Okay.
The Niners were a below average defensive unit for the last half of the year.
Mhm.
And they didn't look terrible against the Packers and the Lions, but they weren't the same unit that they were. And
Excellent.
they deserve credit for doing what they did to the Chiefs for majority of the game, but I really didn't like Wilkes's. like I'm talking out of two sides of my mouth.
You don't think,
Credit,
Trev, you don't think Wilkes made the adjustments once the adjustments were made, is what you're saying? He sort of stuck to his guns. Okay.
Yes.
All right, Jack, next question.
What was up with Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle in that game? Do you think it was just the Chiefs' defense, secondary, everything? But they really did not have good games, especially Kittle.
Yeah, Kittle being as little involved as he was mind-boggling to me. The thing that really stood out about Kittle is he dominates in the run game, but there were multiple instances of Kittle getting blown up at the point of attack. The Chiefs front, totally, took him out of the game in the run game. And I think that's part of the reason why Shanahan went away from it. Some of those outside runs weren't working as well. I contend that they were running the ball pretty well downhill and they should have stuck with it more.
Yeah.
But I think Kittle in the run game, he's the best blocking tight end in football. I don't know if he was injured or what, but he wasn't himself in that game. Debo was just shut down by McDuffie. I think McDuffie was one of the best players on that field.
I had him as Super Bowl MVP until the Mahomes drive. Honestly, I was saying he was the Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, but then he made that hold.
And then Mahomes obviously deserved it.
On the Kittle thing, Kittle did bang up his shoulder, went back to the locker room, and got taped up, I think.
That was at the end.
No, but he was still banged up. And I lay the blame on the coach or the quarterback not getting those guys involved. And so if we get to the Shanahan Purdy mix with Jack's questions, we'll answer to that. But I think that coach and quarterback take a lot of the blame for not getting all those guys. Although Jennings had a really great game for him because he was getting the coverage of the weaker defender. Jack, next question.
Yep.
Purdy game grade. What would you grade his game?
Here we go.
1 to 10?
No.
ABC?
A, B, C, D. Yeah. No, obviously not a D, but yeah.
I'm going to go B-.
Okay.
I thought Purdy was excellent for a majority of the first half. He didn't have to do a ton, but he made some nice throws to the intermediate parts of the field. I thought he made some nice changes at the line. It wasn't like Shanahan was calling the play, and he was doing his part too. At the line of scrimmage. But in the second half, when things sped up for him a little bit, you could tell. And when those plays outside of structure had to be made, there were a few passes that were tipped at the line that never had a shot of being completed. So I think some of those physical limitations that Purdy does have kind of showed up there.
So you gave him a B plus, you said?
B minus.
B minus.
B minus.
I'd go C plus because I think when it comes when you want a quarterback to win the game, he just didn't have the ability to actually be the person who won the game. And then if we get to when we get to the McCaffrey stuff, we'll go there.
All right, I want to try some here. I want to see if I can play a clip and it still lets us hear you. You can't? No. I can't play a clip while I'm on a call?
I don't think so.
Well, we're going to try it.
Here we go, J. Trev. This is a big experiment.
Tell me if you can hear this, J. Trev.
Coach in the NFL. If you had to pick one coach right now.
Can you hear that, J. Trev, or no?
I cannot.
Okay. It was just your quote talking about Shanahan, best coach in the NFL. What at the end of the game, at the end of the day, what are your thoughts on Shanahan? Like, I know at the end of the game you're pissed, but what do you think of Shanahan right now?
Did you guys see the quote that a lot of the players didn't know the overtime rule?
Yeah, we read that earlier. Yeah.
That's thrown under the bus by your players.
I just feel like that's a glaring indictment of game management, game preparation.
Mm-hmm. That's what I said.
That's just football 101.
But the question, J. Trev, can I interrupt there real quick?
Yeah.
So why the hell do the players have to know what the rules are? The coach knows the rules. He makes the decisions. The players just play. I mean, in Kansas City, they talked about having a set plan, but that's because that's what Andy Reid did. But so the onus of it, the players, he could have come out and said, I knew the exact rules, and the coach was an idiot.
He still made the wrong decision.
Yeah, I agree with you. But go, J. Trev. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's a great disclaimer, and I agree. But I just thought that was an extra. That was just, a way to see that Shanahan, really wasn't ready for that moment. I don't know. Apparently, the defense. I mean, not apparently. They definitely were gassed at the end because of that long Kansas City drive, and sending them right back out on the field might not have been the best thing. But I still think, you send them back out there and, you get some more information available to you. Even if Kansas City goes down and they score a touchdown, I mean, you know what you got to do. So with the new rules, I just didn't think there was any benefit to, taking the ball there.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, like
So-
Jack had said that if Kansas City had gone second and they would have gone for 2 to end the game, I think that the logic is, it's like with Belichick. He always has Ernie Adams upstairs who was helping him with all those intricate things. I think coaches are reluctant because I think they're too smart for their own good. They're reluctant to rely on help. And, it cost him. He's blown 2 10-point leads, and he was the offensive coordinator who had Matt Ryan throwing the ball up by 18 points or whatever it was, with 8 points, where all they needed was a field goal to win the game against the Patriots. So his legacy is as not doing too well in the big time. Jack, what do you got next?
All right, just real quick, thoughts on San Fran's future. What do they got going on? Do you think they can win it? You think they'll win a championship with Brock Purdy, yes or no?
Yes, I think they can.
Do you think they will?
Yeah, I think they get over the hump and win one of the next 2. And I say next 2 because that's Purdy's rookie contract window. And, that's also probably the last 2 years of Trent Williams' career. The way Debo plays, he might be aging out after that too. So I really think this is the core to do it. They're a great drafting team with all the minorities that have left in the front office. They have a lot of comp picks coming up from the Rooney Rule, so they have plenty of avenues to add talent around the edges. Pretty much here, I'm banking on Shanahan, refining his overall coaching ability and matching up his X's and O's ability, which I think is the best in the league. And I overrated. I didn't practice what I preached, all those years with Andy Reid.
Question. Okay, keep going, JJ.
I think Shanahan gets over the hump and they get it done because roster talent-wise, they're right up there.
But what's the lifespan of their best player, really? What do they? Do you think McCaffrey lasts 2 more years, the beating that he takes? Because without McCaffrey to dump the ball, Purdy's just a puddle of crap if he doesn't have McCaffrey.
Hey, that's not true. Opinion. He's not a puddle of crap. He's just an
average. He's a puddle of Purdy. That's all. He's Mac Jones. What do you think?
Yeah, no, that's another good point. I'm actually mad I didn't bring that up, but
that's why you had me, J-Trev.
That is why I have you. But I think that fits perfectly into that 2-year window. I can't see him lasting much longer outside of those 2 years, but I really think. I mean, all the stars align this year, and statistically, a lot of advanced numbers. Right. They were the second best team in the league behind the Ravens, and easily the best team in the NFC. And if they couldn't beat the Chiefs this year, it's tough to see them beating them another year. But I'm gonna go on a limb and say they get it done. Just if they keep getting cracks at it.
Next question, Jack.
All right, switching up a little bit. You've been on the sidelines in the NFL for 2, 3 years? I don't know how many. Have you ever seen a coach get attacked by a player?
No, I never saw anything like that.
that was something else. No. What are your thoughts on that?
No, even on I've never even seen something like that on video. I don't think, and it's not some schmuck coach. It's Andy Reid. Guys, I mean,
yeah.
I think Kelsey's the only guy who could do that.
And get away with it.
Exactly.
I explain it this way. Andy Reid's a veteran coach, and he's probably gives his veteran superstars a lot of leeway to speak up in meetings and everywhere else. And he was just pissed at him. I think the overblown part is Reid just wasn't looking, and Kelsey came in really high and hard and knocked him off a little bit, and he went nuts. But I think that just comes down to why he's such a great coach. The players have a lot of trust in him, and the players have a lot of. He lets the players voice their opinions. Sort of like Theo Epstein listens to everybody working. Have to get a Red Sox clip in there somewhere.
All right, legacy talk. You're going to give me a number here. How many quarterbacks as of February 12th, 2024, rank above Mahomes all time?
Oh, that's a great question, Jack.
1.
Wow, so you have him over Montana.
That was the only thought I had in my head, and I think I put him there. Montana had 4, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, say if Mahomes gets 5, I mean, it's the same thing with LeBron and MJ. That discussion. LeBron has 2 less, but he's still in that discussion. I think if Mahomes gets to 5, he could be in that Brady discussion. Anyways, that's irrelevant. But what I'm saying is, he has 1 less than Montana. I think that puts him in that, tier.
Right. It's
and I think his just natural abilities, I think, give him that edge.
Yeah, just like Jack and Tiger, I just want to throw another name out there of greatness.
Yep,
in
that's a
different
great one.
eras. And Brady actually did play in the same era as Mahomes. But the other guy, the most disrespected quarterback in the history of quarterbacks is my good buddy Terry Bradshaw, won 4 Super Bowls in 6 years.
All right, we're not doing this Terry Bradshaw thing again. He's not Patrick Mahomes.
All right.
I heard that. I got a quick question for you guys. I heard this one earlier. If you were Mahomes, if you were in his position, would you have traded one of the last 2 Super Bowl wins? So you either chalk it up as not making it or a loss to have 2 in exchange for winning that AFC Championship game against Brady, and then having the possibility of winning that Super Bowl.
I say no.
Well,
no. Okay.
If he would only have 2 Super Bowls, I'd take the 3 over 2. But he probably would have liked to have beat. He would have liked to have beat Brady, which he never did.
It would be 3 over 2, but then you'd be going on to that Super Bowl, so it'd be 3 over 2.
Oh, well, they would have won that game easily. They would have killed the Rams. They would.
But the other thing, again with football, it's so I'm going to put it this way: you're always looking at quarterback against quarterback. Well, the quarterback is playing the defense of the other team, not. Mahomes has never played against Brady.
Correct.
And Reed focused one up against Belichick, and then Reed went up against Arians on the 2 Brady issues.
The problem with the AFC,
I don't think that's really an issue.
That AFC Championship game, it was decided on a coin flip in overtime. Whoever got the ball there was going to win.
Right. I agree with that.
Mahomes did nothing wrong in the second half to lose that game. So D Ford lines off.
Right. I go real simple that I take the 3 and not the 2. 3's a bigger number than 2. And you know what? You didn't beat Brady. Tough noogies. But frickin' Brady never beat Eli Manning either. So what the hell?
Well, J-Jeff kind of ruined it because he said he can kind of catch him with 5. But this is a little joke question. If Mahomes links up with Alex Guerrero, do you think Brady should be worried?
I don't even know how to address that.
I don't even think you want to answer that, J-Trap.
I just had to get that in. All right. What? Do you like the new overtime rules?
I do.
Yeah, I think they're great.
I mean, they needed serious refinement. That Bills-Chiefs game from 2 years ago.
Yeah, and
right away.
The Patriots-Chiefs game too. Which
I have a question for you, J-Trev. The way those rules are the college overtime rules. Which is better?
I like the NFL just because you bring the whole field into play.
Correct. I agree with you. The college rules, I think, are kind of
gimmicky,
stupid. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's college kids.
Exactly.
Well, that was a great overtime, the last quarter and a half, which a full overtime quarter, and the half of the fourth quarter, great. Everything else, I think, stunk. Favorite commercial, J-Trev?
The Dunkin' commercial.
Of course. You gotta love the Dunkin' commercial. How about those donuts?
I wasn't paying. There were a good amount that I missed.
Yeah.
Just like Jack.
Trying to check the stats in the game and stuff. But the Dunkin' commercial was great.
You should be glad you didn't watch the game with Jack. How about that?
Why is that?
It was just a nightmare first half. Nightmare.
Oh,
he dropped an F-bomb and left the room because I told him to sit down.
Yeah, I can picture it.
I just
got a bump on his head, J-Trap.
Yeah, I have a cut on my head from the Pacheco fumble banging on the ground.
We've had some good memories watching Super Bowl.
J-Trev in that same room. J-Trev on the it was the Malcolm Butler interception going nuts. It's an all-time memory. And then actually we watched in the basement when the Eagles beat the Patriots. I was going nuts.
All right, so Jack, any more questions?
Just a few more. I know we had texted about this, but how about the officiating? What do you think of the officiating?
Best officiating in a big game I can remember in a long time. I mean, I think the most questionable thing that I can remember was that intentional grounding. And I thought it was intentional grounding, but and that was earlier on in the game, so it's not even that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Big holding that was called on McDuffie, that was the correct call. So I thought they did a great job.
Did you like Usher?
Usher was okay. I liked it better than some of the recent Super Bowl commercials. But
halftime
I like the whole show itself. I liked Alicia Keys. I liked Ludacris. I thought it was a pretty good show.
They brought back the old time rappers, buddy, to make us old codgers. Your dad probably loved Ludacris.
He couldn't stand it.
All right, and then last question: who's going to win the Super Bowl next year? You're going to say the 49ers.
I'm just going to say the 49ers. I mean,
you already
the Chiefs.
It, yeah.
The Niners are plus 450, the Chiefs are plus 750, and that just doesn't make any sense to me. But
it's so early, though.
Yeah, no, it is.
ESPN's got the early rankings out. They've got Baltimore 1, Chiefs 2, Niners 3, Lions 4, Bills 5, Dolphins 6, Cowboys 7, Eagles are 8, Houston 9, Green Bay 10. So a couple good up-and-coming teams in the NFC to challenge the 49ers.
For sure. The NFC definitely going to be strong. It can't be much weaker than it was this year overall.
Yeah.
I still think the AFC is the best conference by just because of the quarterbacks and all
Right,
that. But
right.
we'll see what happens
Oh, yeah.
down the road.
Right. And they got Jim Harbaugh now, too.
Oh, yeah. Ooh,
Yeah, don't forget
I'm real
that.
scared.
Yeah. Anybody, Jack, any other questions?
That's all I got. Do you have any?
Yeah, what do you got for us, Jay Trev? Anything?
No, I was talking to you.
I don't have any. Jay Trev, I want to talk to Tommy.
You want him now?
Yeah, let's go. Put it on speaker so he can scream at me. Oh, my God. This ought to be a hit. Hey, just for our fans out there, Tommy Trevisani and I did We've Seen Enough, and Tommy abandoned me for Maine. So he's been begging to get back on. So now he's finally going to get on. We got to get him down here in the studio a couple times. Is he there yet?
Don't hold your breath.
I won't. He can't leave the dog alone for a long time. That's all.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right, here he is.
Tommy.
Yes.
Live on the air with Tommy Trevisani, Jim Boyle, Jack Boyle. It all boils down to this. What you think of the Super Bowl, Tommy? Boy, you're never talkative. You're always talkative. What's going on?
What did I think of it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was the first three quarters was awful, but it ended out. Mahomes made the plays again. I thought San Francisco's coach, I think he blew that game. I think he just he should have ran the ball more.
Yeah, just like they should have done in Atlanta. He should have run the ball more. They would beat the Patriots.
Yeah, you remember? Yeah, he's a complete idiot. Okay.
That's why we love you, Tommy. What do you got on the Mahomes? What do you think of Patrick Mahomes?
Well, I don't know. I think he's going to go. I think, he's the best quarterback in football, and I think he's really the real deal. I know he just makes plays.
And then
doesn't turn the ball over. I mean, he just does. I don't know. He just always makes the right play.
Okay, and Jack, what's up?
Where'd Mark Bryant go to college?
Mark who?
Mark Bryant.
Seton Hall?
Yeah.
I said, catch him off guard. He still gets it.
Good. Hey, you do have a relationship somewhere with the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Mike Borgonzi. What's he got going here in New England? Think he can come here and do a good job, or do you think they'll even hire him?
I would think so. I mean, he has a lot to do with, drafting a lot of those players. I mean, he seems like a big part of that organization. I would think so. I think it would be some new blood. I would like it. I think that's what the Patriots need. I think they need someone new to come in here. They got to kind of change it up, but I don't think they're going to do that, though.
Yeah, did you babysit the Borgonzi brothers? Is that rumor true? I've heard that rumor out ever. Is that true?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
and they lived? And they lived?
And they did.
Oh, God, Tommy.
Yeah, I remember those boys when they were little. Yep.
You're getting old, buddy.
So Tommy T, by the transitive property, is a 3-time Super Bowl champion.
He is. He is a 3-time Super Bowl champ. It's a shame that Dave can't win. You. Can I go off topic a little bit?
Well, I got one.
Jack's got a question for you.
One more. Clinton Wheeler.
Clinton who?
Wheeler.
Clinton Wheeler.
Yeah, you never get this.
What teams did he play for?
The Trailblazers in the late 80s.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Wait, Clinton Wheeler?
Yeah, you're not gonna get that.
I would even. Why am I not? I don't even remember that player.
Yeah, he averaged
I don't
2
remember that
points a
player
game.
either.
He went to William Patterson University.
Where is that, Jack? Do you know?
No clue.
New Jersey.
New Jersey, baby. The Patties, the William Patterson Patties.
You can go off topic.
Yeah, I think it is, isn't it? Wait, what was his name again?
Clinton Wheeler.
Oh, I never even remember that.
Don't worry about it, Tommy. That was unfair. We suckered you into that. Hey, we're gonna get you on. You're gonna come down, right? I get you down here. I get back.
I want to now. Yeah,
can you
because
just
I'm
call
on now. I just had the last few weeks have been kind of
I understand.
crazy.
Hey, I'm going to Florida on Friday for a month, and when I get back on the 18th, we'll get you in studio. Or we can Zoom now too, so we can do a Zoom.
Well, yeah,
content.
I want to start doing. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I can actually start just coming down. I mean, I get out of work at 12:30,
Good.
so I'm
Good.
available.
Okay, all time. We're eventually going to do an all-time NBA draft. Who's your first pick? All-time NBA.
All-time NBA draft.
What do you even ask him this question for? We know who his first pick is.
Come on, Larry Bird.
Oh, man. Oh,
right,
man.
what?
You know what? We got to get him together with McGilvery, Paul McGilvery.
We'll
because
save that for
I
a
don't
later
know.
date.
Now, after everything, I might have to say LeBron. I'm hard to admit.
Whoa,
but
whoa.
I would still take Larry Bird.
Okay,
over
next
anybody.
question. Basketball question.
Oh, my God.
Take the last shot. Current player, who would you want to take the last shot if you had to win a championship?
In the league right now?
Yes.
Say Dame.
Wow. Oh my God, Jesus, that's because none of these players. If I had I don't know. That's a good question. Like who's? I don't even know. I would say.
Who was your binky all these years?
I always because none of these guys are really.
Okay.
None of these guys are clutch players to me.
Well, I know who you want to say.
I'm
Say
gonna
it.
say I mean, in the future right now, but I would always said Michael Jordan and Larry Bird.
Yeah, but we're talking about right now. Right now, player right now.
I would probably have to say
Weber State.
no. I mean, yeah, he's a guy. I know you're gonna say him. No, I mean,
I'll
no,
tell
he
you.
isn't one. No, I wouldn't say him. I mean, he's a clutch player. He's a finisher, but I don't know. Maybe I would say not even Giannis. He's not a finisher.
Oh, he's horrible. Forget Giannis.
We can't make a shot.
Yeah, I will say. I
Doesn't
said we had asked a question 2 days ago, and I said Curry, and he hits that monster three against the Lakers.
Wait,
for me.
that's a guy. I'm sorry. I wasn't even. I haven't a brain fart. Yeah, Curry. But I know this year I would probably have to say him. Yeah.
And then one basketball question left before we wrap it up because we're getting up to our hour of time. Celtics NBA champions? Yes or no?
No, no way.
No way. Who
Not
beats
even
them?
close.
Who beats them?
I think they're gonna not even make it out of the East.
Who beats them?
Ugh, I'm not even saying. I'm not saying Cleveland now seems to be playing good, but I think
Cleveland.
Milwaukee gets them in a series too. I just do.
Okay. How much NBA have you watched this year?
I'm going to call you from the parade.
Not much, but I just don't know what it is with the Celtics. I don't like the coach, and they can't finish. They still can't finish to me.
They're like,
Even the other
they're like
day
40
against,
and
like-
12.
I know, but they're not good.
Hey, we got you on tape now, Tom.
I just can't. I don't know what it is. I can't stand looking at Brown. I think Tate. I just got a thing with the Brown kid. I just don't know. I don't think Porzingis is tough enough. I don't know.
We'll let you live with that one because we're going to play that on tape after they win the championship. in
Yeah,
June.
don't forget me too. I gotta go to the place. We gotta pick a week.
Yeah, I know. We'll talk about. We'll talk. That's complete.
Talk about that. I gotta go to your-
Hey, we are on the Old Boys Down the Pocket, but yeah, we will.
I
We'll
gotta
do that.
go to your joint over
Yeah,
there.
you
now.
will.
I
Whatever.
can't
Hey,
afford nothing else.
you know what? Say hi to Lisa for us. And,
I will.
And your dog there. What's his name? Kyler, Ty, or something? What's
Charlie.
His name? Charlie.
Charlie.
Is he still
I love
running around
Lisa.
pooping in the people's yards?
Yeah, he's useless too.
Hey, at least you got Jay Trev to do well for you, right?
I will.
Hey, listen, glad to have you on, Tommy. We're going to get you back live on here. Once we get you down here or whatever, when I get back. I'll be back on the 18th of March. We'll try to sneak you in here. If not, we can Zoom you in. And that's sort of, it's good to hear from you, though, buddy.
Yeah, it's been a long time. We started. I want to be back there.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get you back. So thanks for calling. Jack's going to hang up on you now. And tell Jay Trev thanks a lot. Really appreciate the Trevisani's coming on and help make it all boils down to this work. Thanks, buddy.
One last one. Terry Porter.
Oh, Terry Porter's easy.
Wisconsin, Stevens Point.
Yeah,
There you go.
I knew he'd get that
All
one.
right. Have a good one.
Oh, you got another one?
Yeah.
I got one more. Craig Neal.
Oh, bald guy. No, that was Gary Neal.
Craig Neal. Like, what team did no? But what team, what
Portland.
NBA team did he play?
These are
on?
all Portland guys, but again, he played 63 games in the NBA,
You don't
so
care.
it's not fair.
Oh, Craig Neal. What conference?
I don't know if they were there at the time, but the ACC.
Syracuse.
Oh, wait, they do know. Was it Georgia Tech?
Yes, it is. All right, that's a good one.
How about Marty Collins?
Who? Providence.
No, Marty Collins
No,
is
you
a
said
Temple.
Marty?
Marty
No.
Collins.
Marty Collins. I do. He originally went to Indiana, then he transferred to Evansville, right?
Yeah, right. That's my Temple guy. One of our last guys to make the NBA from Temple. Marty Collins.
Temple. Oh, that's another
Yeah,
team.
that's another joke right now.
They're
Hey, Tommy.
They're better than BC, though. All
That's
right.
true. Tommy, thanks for coming on, calling, and Jay Trev call. We'll get you on. That is the famous,
buddy.
the one and only Tommy Trevisani coming to us live from Maine. And Justin Trevisani, thanks a lot.
Oh, I already hung up.
I hung up on him.
That was great. The dog's useless. That was a great line.
Okay. All right. So as we wrap up our Super Bowl show, we'll be in again. This is episode 26 of It All Boils Down to This. Jack Boyle over there, Mr. Kansas City Chief. I'll give you credit, Jack.
I give you credit.
I give you credit.
I get credit for sticking with them throughout the season when everyone changed their pick, but I don't get credit for the preseason pick because guess what? I'm picking them next year. I'm picking them the year after. As long as Mahomes breathing, I'm picking them.
So our next couple of shows, now the football's over, we'll start to wrap around some shows that we can get on. We do want to have the pep band from the
this
high
kid's
school pep
unbelievable.
band.
Not the pep band, the kid who plays the keyboard.
Dean Champa.
I mean, it's like he's like Elton John.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something. Dean's also a really, really big miler or 2-miler cross-country guy, too. So it'll be good to have him
So
on.
he's like Elton John and Mo Farah combined.
There you go. Jack brings out Mo Farah.
I bet he's one of my favorite Olympians ever.
All right.
We'll have to do an Olympics preview coming up.
Oh, yeah, we got that in
the
France.
summer.
France and Olympics. We'll have Premier League. Olympics will be ruining all our customers.
Man United, gigantic win. Scotty McTominay with a huge goal. Just let's keep rolling. Let's get top 4. That's it. Man United, let's go. Glory, glory, Man United.
All right. He has to get his Premier League in. All right. So that was Jack Boyle talking about everything. Thanks for joining us on 26th edition of It All Boils Down to This. For Jack, I'm Jim Boyle, and we'll see you on down the road. Thanks for listening to this episode of It All Boils Down to This, recorded at WCTV studios in our hometown of Wilmington, Massachusetts. We are always open to any ideas, critiques, topics, and guests. So if anyone out there in podcast world needs to get a hold of us, we can be reached via email at jboyle22@comcast.net. Along with Jack Boyle, I'm Jim Boyle. Make sure to tune in to the next edition of It All Boils Down to This.